Teamwork makes the dream work. The sun had just set, and the new crescent moon glowed bright on the horizon. The festival of Eid had arrived. For siblings Nadia, Zoya, and Bilal, this meant three things. Number 1, fantastic food. Mum was making kufta and rice, and Zoya's mouth was already watering as she thought about how juicy the meatballs would be. Plus, there would be so many sweets, desserts, and treats. Grown-ups let you eat sweets all day long on Eid, even in between mealtimes. Number 2, there would be no school tomorrow. The siblings had the day off to celebrate Eid with their family. Of course they would miss their friends, but they would get to share lots of yummy food with them in the evening. Number 3, gifts. Every grown-up the children would meet on Eid would give them a present, or even dig deep and give them a few pounds each. This was called Eidi. Mum and Dad always made sure to give Nadia, Bilal and Zoya equal amounts of money. On Eid morning, they each received an envelope with enough money to buy anything they wanted. And that was the best bit of all. Tomorrow was the day of the celebrations, and Mum and Dad had a lot to get done before the guests arrived. They gathered the children round and gave them a list of chores, including cleaning the whole house, preparing the food, wrapping the last-minute presents for all their aunts, uncles and many cousins, and sorting out the decorations. Mum and Dad began putting up fairy lights in the front room. The front room was only really used on extra special occasions. "Nadia, can you run upstairs and get the other box of decorations, please?" said Mum. "Bilal, one of the presents we ordered for your cousin Ali arrived this morning. Can you find it?" asked Dad. "Zoya, please get off that computer right now and help," cried Mum. "Dad and I will be busy cooking the rest of the food tomorrow morning and will be attending Eid prayers, so we really need to get these decorations up tonight." "We all need to help each other," said Dad. "Teamwork makes the dream work, remember?" While Nadia rushed upstairs to get the decorations, Bilal coaxed the computer mouse from Zoya. By the time Nadia had returned with an overflowing box of gold banners, sparkly bunting and shiny balloons, Bilal was slowly unwrapping a giant confetti-filled balloon with a sour look on his face. Mum had made it her mission to vacuum every inch of the house that night, and when she left the room to get the vacuum cleaner, Bilal dropped the balloon to the floor. "What's the matter with you?" Nadia asked. "I don't want to help," moaned Bilal. "I want to play next door at Daoud's house. His dad let him open his Eid present early. He got the latest Zulu alien game." "Well, I don't want to help either. My friends are going to get their Mendi done tonight, and I want to go too." While Nadia and Bilal bickered, their little sister Zoya quietly sat down with the box of decorations, taking the decorations out and sorting them into piles. "You've got the easy jobs," Bilal said to Nadia, ignoring the fact that Zoya was the only one actually doing the job that they had all been asked to do. "No, I haven't," said Nadia. "Yes, you have. All you've got to do is string the banners around the house." "Yes, but I can't just put them anywhere, you banana. I have to string them up high so that they look good." "Banana?" Bilal sniffed. "I'm telling Mum you're calling me names." "Names? I only called you a banana. Look, the faster we finish, the faster we can get out of here. Your job is to blow up the balloons. Now get on with it," Nadia hissed. "It's boring." "Look, you have to do it. It's the only way we might get to do what we want tonight." Suddenly, they heard a strange sound behind them. Oh. It was Zoya clutching her stomach. Nadia and Bilal rushed to their sister's side. Zoya, are you okay? Asked Bilal. When Zoya didn't answer, Nadia ran to get Mum and Dad. Bilal heard the vacuum cleaner stop, and Mum came running into the front room. What happened, sweetie? Said Mum. She held Zoya close in her lap and wrapped her arms around her. I don't know, Mummy. My tummy feels really weird. Zoya's face was pale. She looked as if she was going to be sick. Bilal, said Mum, please get a glass of water for your sister. Bilal hurried to the kitchen, returning as quickly as he could to hand Zoya the glass. Once Zoya had taken a sip, Mum looked up at Nadia with a serious face. Please, can you grab Zoya's coat? I'm sure she's okay, but I'd better take her to the doctor just in case. Nadia nodded and gulped. Even Bilal looked scared. Don't worry, said Mum. Dad's here, okay? He's just in the kitchen preparing his special dessert for tomorrow. Mum bundled Zoya into the car and off they went, Zoya giving her brother and sister a little smile as she left. Nadia and Bilal quietly sat down on the sofa. I hope Zoya is going to be okay, Bilal said. Yeah, fighting about putting the decorations up was silly, replied Nadia. Eid won't be the same if Zoya isn't well. Oh no! Do you think we'll still get our Eid? Bilal! Oh, sorry. Bilal looked down, fiddling with the bunting in his hands. You're right. That doesn't matter at all, does it? Eid is all about family and being together. I wish we hadn't been arguing. We should have been keeping an eye on Zoya. Yes, you're right, said Nadia. At that moment, Bilal realized it didn't really matter if he got to play Dawood's new game, and Nadia realized that she didn't have to go out to get her Mendi done after all. It was much more important that Zoya was okay and that the celebrations would go ahead as planned the next day. Hey, how about I help you untangle the bunting and then we can both put all the decorations up together, Bilal said. Nadia smiled and nodded. Yes, let's do that. The children put on some special nasheeds and sat down side by side to get to work. Soon, Nadia and Bilal noticed how well they worked together. They finished separating and organizing all the decorations from the box, so all the bunting, banners, and balloons were in different piles. Then they untangled all the fairy lights, wire by wire. One for you, one for me, Nadia said. They were surprised to find that the job took on its own rhythm. Have you ever tried to untangle something without rushing, when you have all the time in the world? It's just like solving a puzzle. And so it was for Bilal and Nadia, who felt a happy satisfaction at each piece they straightened out. Great work, you two, said Dad, poking his head into the front room. Are you done with the decorations yet? Nearly, replied Bilal. In what felt like no time at all, the children had blown up all the balloons, hung up the banners, and finished putting up the decorations around the room. They stepped back to admire their handiwork. The fairy lights were twinkling and flashing merrily, the bunting was shouting a big Eid Mubarak, and the balloons were looking festive and fantastic. I think we're ready for a party tomorrow, Bilal said. Me too, agreed Nadia. She stepped towards Bilal with her arms stretched wide. At first, he looked confused, but then he understood. He opened his arms wide too, and they gave each other a big hug. They both grinned. I really hope Zoya's well enough to join us tomorrow, Nadia sighed. Me too, said Bilal. Oh, I have one last thing I'd like to do. And with that, he moved the fairy lights to make a huge Z for Zoya on the wall. Perfect, Nadia beamed. Come here, Dad called. I've got something to show you. The children ran to the kitchen to see what Dad had been up to. When they opened the door, they saw rows and rows of golden biscuits laid out on the counter. Dad must have been thinking about Zoya too, because in a few special rows, the biscuits had been cut into the letter Z. "Wow!" cried Nadia. "They look really great, Dad." "Awesome, Dad," agreed Bilal. The children joined in to help with the preparations. They mixed the rest of the creamy batter. Then they rolled and stamped out even more cookies. And they were having such a fun time helping Dad make biscuits that Bilal forgot all about wanting to play Daoud's new game, and Nadia forgot all about getting her mehndi done. The clock ticked by, and soon it was dinner time. It was a family tradition to have pizza for dinner the night before Eid, and Dad had made Zoya's favourite, pizza with pineapple on top. "It's a shame Zoya isn't here to enjoy her favourite pizza," said Bilal sadly. They were just about to start eating when they heard the doorbell ring. Nadia and Bilal ran to the door as fast as they could. Mum and Zoya were home. "Zoya's okay," Mum said with a big smile. "The doctor said it must have been something she ate. He did a few checks and said she'll be fine by tomorrow." The children smiled and hugged each other, and Dad said a little prayer to thank God that Zoya was okay. "Alhamdulillah," he said. Then the family went to the dining table to sit down together for pizza. They were just about to start eating when they heard the doorbell ring again. "Now, who could that be?" said Dad. It was Daoud and his mum, Auntie Layla. Dad had messaged them to let them know that Zoya was unwell. And when Bilal didn't arrive to play Daoud's new game, they had decided to bring it over. It wasn't long before Daoud and Bilal were playing the game together. Auntie Layla had brought some henna in cones with her too. Nadia was ecstatic. After dinner, Auntie, Mum, Zoya and Nadia took turns drawing mehndi on each other's hands. After a little while, once the henna had dried, Nadia and Bilal took Zoya into the front room. As soon as she saw the decorations, Zoya gasped. "I love it," she yelled, giving her brother and sister a hug. Nadia and Bilal hugged her back. "Eid Mubarak, Zoya," they said. Mum was very happy too. She loved how the front room looked, and she even let the children have a few biscuits when the grown-ups were having their tea. What an excellent way to begin the Eid celebrations! Dad had always said that teamwork makes the dream work. But tonight, the children finally learned what that meant.